Welcome to this segment that we have with a very special guest. We are so excited to have you here with our live audience to hear from Doug DeVos, who is in Amway, and your father was a huge part of CLI. So we are just so excited to have you share about family enterprise for our total fitness class. But before we get into that, I just want to ask you a question. So all of us here today have heard about CLI 2.0 and the students. You guys are going to be getting updates on this. And with CLI going to a new spot and a new era, your family is kind of in that spot with your mother and father both in heaven now. You're in a new era of the DeVos family, and I would love to hear a little bit about how things have been going and what some of the changes and reflections have been for all of you.
Well, transition's an interesting thing, isn't it? Especially at a time when you lose your parents, when you lose family members, those that are special to you. And there's a couple things that are around it. One, you said they're in heaven now, so we know that. And that's why this ministry is so important to life, because we can go through a transition like this and miss your mom and dad and have that emptiness, but it's filled because we know where they are. They're together. They live their lives assured, and we can live our lives assured as well because of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we know who we are, whether mom and dad are here with us or whether they're not. Yep. And we were blessed in the years that we had together. Mom was 90, Dad was 92. You know, God gave us so many years together, so that when we transition at a time like this, and in whatever your transition is in your life or in the ministry here or in our life, you move from one place where a door closes to another place where different doors open, and God's always behind it and part of it and with it. And so we are transitioning to what God's calling us to do next as a family. You know, and mom and dad, though, laid some incredible foundations for us. And they kept us together. We talked about this for years and years. My dad had so many health challenges. We actually thought we'd go through this about 25 years ago. You know, but God kept him around. And so we said all we wanted to say to each other, we needed to say. There's nothing that was left unsaid. There were things that were not left undone. We've talked about, you know, how God has been present in their lives. They shared their story and how they believe He's present in our lives, and we believe that. So as you transition, you move forward, whether it's in business and life and ministry, with family, and we've put pieces together that we stay together as a family. So Dad passed in September. Mom passed the year before. And Christmas is an important time, as we all know. And we had always gathered together at Christmas Eve, and so we did it again at Mom and Dad's house. And we came back together again to celebrate some of those traditions that hold us together as a family. Now, we will create new traditions with my siblings and myself and you know, our kids, and that's part of life. Those stories go on. So we're transitioning well. Thanks for asking, and we just and we can do that because we know where they are and the faith that we have as well. So we can move forward.
Wow, thank you. I mean, that is so encouraging because I know many of you are in transitions and it is hard. So I love that positive attitude I see going on there. I have one more question for you. You said that you see God opening doors. What doors has God been opening that might have been surprising in the recent future?
Well, you know, I think you know, it's hard to put a specific piece on it, but I think some of the doors that God's opened is a connection with people. You know, in a funny way, what we're doing right now, because you know, because Dad was very involved and engaged in the ministry, and so we knew Henry and we knew a little bit what was going on, but now to see what's really happening, and those are things that those doors start to open a little bit because Dad's not there to fill it, and so we then have a chance to kind of be in some of those connections personally, and you get a bit of an experience, if you will, of finding out some of the things that they were doing that they really didn't talk a lot about. And it's going, well, wow, that's an interesting door. I didn't know that you were doing this or that, and Mom and Dad both. So, well, okay, well, this is a piece of their legacy that goes on as well.
Wow.